you guys have bought a lot of deals in your life. How have you found those deals?
So many different ways, like so many different avenues. It's funny, like we've gotten stuff off the auction court steps. We've gotten stuff off the MLS. We've gotten stuff from wholesalers.
Yeah.
We've gotten stuff from family members. We're always about telling everybody what we do, talking about what we do, and when people think real estate in our area, they think us.
Yeah.
And that's the goal. Like
awesome.
I know you always said like start local. Like obviously you go out of state, but start local, and that's what we did. Like we really honed in on being the biggest real estate local investors local. So when anyone has a rundown house, let's call David and Chenoa.
Yeah.
We know they can execute. We know they can do this, and so.
All right. Let's first talk about the contractor thing. That is one of the most difficult things in scaling for anybody. Right? Like, how do you just find them? So what has worked for you, and what lessons have you learned in that?
We stalked them.
Stood outside their bedroom window and knocked until they...
A lot of times in life, it's just asking the questions. So we called a lot of the real estate agents in our town, and we asked them, hey, who are you using? Like, when you guys have inspections, who are you using to do the work? And so once we found that out, we met with the contractors, and then basically from there, we asked them, hey, can we see houses that you've done before? Can we see any of the projects that you've done? And then from there, we just started to click with them really easily, and then we started using them on our projects. And so that's basically how we did it. It was literally asking the agents who they're using for inspections, and then using those contractors on our projects.
Yeah. Our contractors are like our family.
Really?
Like when you own a business or you're working for a business, like you become so close. Like they know us. They don't have to ask questions about like how we want things done. They just know our style now.
That's awesome.
That's one of the good things. Like when you've been doing it so much, they already know. Like if Chenoa goes, I want this house green, they know the tile, they know the cabinets.
They know the whole.
Boom.
Can I ask this? I'm sure you have something too.
Go ahead.
This is something I struggle with and always have with contractors is once I become friends with them and like we start doing a lot of deals, I feel like they just start raising their price because they're like, oh, he's not going to care. And so then I feel, and it's kind of true. Like I don't want to like rock the boat. So all of a sudden they just get more and more expensive. Have you found that? Have you not found that? Like how do you prevent that?
A few that we first started out with, yes. But for the most part, the ones that are still with us, no. And the reason for that is because we're so easygoing, and they understand that. And they've always told me this. They go, I don't want to ever go and remodel a custom home or build a custom home because it is so stressful to go and do that for a client.
Yeah.
With you guys are easygoing. This is easy. I can do this all day. As long as I'm having a steady paycheck, this is great.
Yeah, they're thankful, I think. And I think it's just how you treat people, right? I mean, like you find the right employee, there's a bazillion of them. It's like finding that needle in a haystack a little bit too with a contractor who's genuinely a good person also who can lay down and sleep at night and know they did the job well done and that we're the same way. We'll like always,
I agree with
our
that.
part.
I've had them come to me and go, hey, like I know you recommended me for this, but I can't do it. Like I only do stuff for you guys.
That's cool. I tell all of my friends or just anybody. So we flip in St. Louis, and I'm willing to share everything. Like my wholesalers, my real estate agents, any of my calculators, how I analyze deals. But if you ask me to share my contractor, I'm going to fight you. Like I'm going to fight you, and you're not going to get it.
Let me call your wife.
Exactly. So we love our contractors, and like you said, it's all about just taking care of them. We show up with Modelo's on day one and drop it off. And they might be drinking on the job. I don't know, but they like us, and we like them, and keeping them busy too. Obviously, you guys have done 300 plus flips, and kept them busy. So I love that.
Yeah, no, definitely keeping them happy.
We've had to pivot, a little bit, and now we have switched into more multifamily, small multifamily.
Multifamily and new builds.
Yeah, new builds. And luckily, right before interest rates, went back up, we actually were like, we got to buy and hold, and then we just went on a frenzy. So.
All right, well, let's talk about that. What does that look like to buy and hold for you? Like what are you buying and where?
So a lot of the buy and hold stuff we're doing, a lot of burrs in Northern California. Okay. We're like an hour and 45 minutes north of Sacramento, and we're kind of a unique area. Like the average house in this one particular area, Oroville, California, it's like high 200,000s, which is like unheard of for California, right?
It's crazy.
And then Chico, the nearest biggest town to that. It's gone up over the years, and now it's like 400 something thousand. But anyways, the last 2 years, we've bought so many single-family homes that we were able to BRRRR in California. And then after we started doing the single-family, we said, okay, like the same amount of work that I'm putting in to do this one property, why don't I go buy an 8-plex or a 12-plex? Because the same amount of time and energy that I'm using to analyze this one single-family, I could do that for a multifamily. So then we started buying an 8-plex, then we bought a 12-plex, then we bought a 17-plex. And then I said, well, this is just like I said, the single family thing. It's same thing, same amount of time. And then I started to network with more people, and then we decided to go out of state because it was getting really hard to invest in multifamily in California, as a lot of people know. And so then we networked, found another partner, and then we started investing in Birmingham, Alabama, and buying multifamily out there. So,
and then we came across a wholesaler that was local but found a deal in Chicago.
Okay.
So we got on the plane in January. Maui weather, Northern California winters are a little different
froze my
than
rear end off.
Chicago.
Show up in Chicago in January.
Yes, and it just happened to be like one of the most like cold fronts that they had. It was like negative something, and our California winter clothes, did not keep us warm. But
Yeah.
it was an experience.
We bought it. We definitely bought it. We found a great property manager, which
is key.
That's
Property management.
How do you find a good property manager?
So that the wholesaler that brought us the deal was working with the property manager, and the property manager. That's when we said, okay, we need to fly. Let's meet her in person. Like, let's interview her. Let's ask her all these questions. And then when we sat down with her, she was just on it. Like, she was every single thing from like the electrical bills to the tenants. Like, she knew every single thing. I was like, you're the best ever. I'm like, can I fly you to California? Like, so that made it so comfortable for us to invest out of state, and that's why we did it.
Yeah.
And how big was that one in Chicago?
That was a 12-plex.
A 12-plex? Cool.
Yep.
That's awesome. Are you raising money for all these, I'm assuming?
Yeah, so one of the biggest things, when I first started out, I did a lot of joint ventures, but then it pulled me in so many different directions because I had to manage, I had to always report to all my different joint venture partners. And so that got really stressful for me. And so I had heard that, I just went to the title company that we did so many deals through that we used for everything. And I said, who are your private money lenders here? Like, who are the guys that are lending money? Yeah. And they gave me the number of the number one guy in our local town that they said, he is the big fish. He's the one you want. Took him to lunch. We hit it off. And then that was it. Like, he goes, we're going to cover all your deals. Let's try one. If you can pay me back in a year, then I'll keep funding your deals. And from that day on, we eliminated, we still have one or two joint ventures, but for the most part, he is my capital partner for everything I do. He doesn't even need to see the property. He still goes on the deed of trust, but it's all about us. They trust us. They believe in us.
They allowed us to buy a bagel shop, actually.
Really?
Bagel shop?
It's like, hey, we trust you. And then how do you pay him back? Is it like on those properties, or is it refinancing, or is he part of the deal?
Yeah, either if we're selling it on flip or through the refinance.
Are you doing? Him back. Is he paying 100? I mean, like, he's funding the entire thing, or just the down payment part?
He's funding the entire thing and the remodel.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And it started with just the purchase.
Just the purchase.
And then we finally got to do just over time, build that trust.
And that's exactly what it is, right? You build trust over time with people.
Yes.
A lot of people are like, well, how do I get 100% financing on a property? I'm like, you don't the first time. Like,
right.
Or you maybe split it 50-50 with someone the first time.
Exactly.
Or maybe, and then you work into trust.
Exactly.
Yeah, there's very few people that I would trust with like just giving them money, but there are a few in my life that I'd be like, if they ask me, in fact, one of my buddies, Gene. I financed the deal for them, and then I ended up refinancing it with them. I'm still on the loan. I have a little percentage in the deal now. I don't really care. I looked at the property one time ever. I don't care. I'm not investing in the deal. I'm investing in Gene.
Yeah, exactly.
I trust that dude. It's a beautiful house.
So dude,
I wish I would have bought that house, actually.
By the way, I need $500,000.
We'll talk later.
Yeah.
It's 24%.
Money should never be the issue.
First time, yeah.
I think money's I think that should never be an issue that stops you from getting into real estate.
100% agreed. Yeah. It's like if you have a good enough deal, you can usually figure out a way to get the money, even if you had to partner with someone.
Yeah.
Yeah, the JV stuff works. It's expensive, but it works.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
I kind of have a little business idea around that.
Oh,
what's your business idea?
Want to share right here?
Not yet. It's brewing. I'm in 5 years. In 5 years.
Okay.
In 5 years. You know.
So what's for your? You don't have to tell us your guys, but like, what is a good interest rate that you think that people should negotiate for a private
So with
lender?
my guy, it's 10% interest only, but there's no points. Like I said, they don't need to see the property. They trust us. It's 10% interest only. It has to be paid back in a year.
In a year?
In a
Do you
year.
guys pay monthly on that or whenever you refinance?
It depends. If it's a flip, no. If it's multifamily that's cash flowing, we pay them monthly. Yes.
Gotcha. Cool.
Yeah. You know, yeah. As a real estate investor, I'm gonna say something kind of weird here, but as a real estate investor, like 10% always just seemed too small. Like, oh, I can get more than that in rental property, right? Now I have a good chunk of money sitting in a bank account. Like right now, I have a good chunk of money sitting there, and I'm getting like 3% on it right now.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all of a sudden now to somebody who has now, I'm like I have a good amount of cash. I'm like 10% sounds amazing. Right. It'd be 3 times more than I'm getting right now.
Exactly.
And so like, yeah, it's funny how we oftentimes as investors, when we put our we put our mindset into somebody else's thing. Like, oh, they would never lend on that because 10% is amazing to a person who's used to 5 in the stock market or 7.
Yeah.
So like, I think it's a good reminder for people not to get stuck on what you think is right or what you think is fair and what normal is.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Yeah, because 10% could be great.